September by Earth, Wind, and Fire. It's a good one. Hot mics. Yeah. Coming down. Testing. Yeah. Welcome to the Fresh Pot Podcast. I am Norm Jones, and I'm joined today by three wonderful human beings from the Cup of Code family. Go ahead and introduce yourselves.
When did this start?
It's new for 26.
But it's the second podcast of 26.
I know, but we're starting a thing. It's
That's
February.
right. For all of our new listeners here.
Yes.
And I'm Nick.
I'm Tim.
I'm Sam.
Hey, and we are Cup of Code.
Hey, all of our names are one syllable.
Oh, now that we got that out of the way.
Well, we're off to a fantastic start this year.
Yeah, we are. Nick, like we always do about this time, you prep us with some very timely and relevant questions. We talk about everything from business operations to making choices about the best marketing tactics that are out there. And I get feedback from our listeners that they enjoy the questions because it keeps us on our toes.
Well, if you haven't stopped listening, we're not doing questions today. So
Good golly, you can tune out now. Thanks for joining us on the Fresh Pot. We'll see you next month.
That's right.
we're just going to go over subjects today. So
Love it.
Yeah. We're going to start with February energy. What the month really is like in business. Like, I want to talk about stuff like, what is this month a slump for people? Is it more of a momentum month going into what we hope spring comes soon? Topics like that. We're going to start with you, Norm. I told you I was going to put you on the spot.
I love it. Does it depend on whether or not the prognosticator of all prognosticators, Punxsutawney Phil, sees his shadow or not?
Well, Pixeltani Glitch did see his shadow. So if you're not using Cup of Code, you have 6 more weeks of crappy websites and marketing with your in-house team.
There it is.
Very nice. Pixeltani Glitch.
It's more like what we're going to be focusing on this month. Like, we can talk about what we're going to focus on, what other businesses should focus on. It's the second month of the year. Most people are spent the first month getting their taxes ready, still doing that stuff, but like promos and what they should be doing moving throughout the year.
I like it. Mm-hmm. I like it. Do you want me to jump right in, or do you have a specific question about it?
No, I want you to jump right in, Norm.
Sure. We had a conversation this week where we talked about, should businesses be constantly offering some sort of a promotional opportunity, whether it's a BOGO or it's a longer term contract for service and rewarding that customer with an opportunity to get something free or at a discounted price. And I think the world that we live in is so ever changing, right? We have businesses that are, maybe you have a competitor that's constantly trying to undercut you by a better price, or they're trying to give something away. So I think in a world that is constantly sending, video content our way and graphics our way about promos and billboards and, everything that we hear, you got to remain relevant. And one of the ways that you can do that is with a timely promotional opportunity. So while I firmly believe that if you do a good job at something, you should be paid well to do it, I also know that the competitive landscape of the world that we live in the marketing world, requires us to be being creative and thinking about ways that we can offer more value, added value to the service that we already do a good job at. So yeah, I think it's appropriate to talk about promotions. I know that in-house we're working on a lot of great opportunities right now to kind of stretch value for our customers and try to find new ways to get in front of people. And that goes back to what we talked about this morning, about systems in place of trying to get in front of people to drive our 4 key products.
That's how I look at February as well. Like, let's get what we didn't do that well last year. And let's start working on January and February doing that better, putting in processes, maybe starting new promos. Just getting better at what we didn't do last year is how I look at February.
There was a time that I thought, we would get into, we're a very open office, right? And a very open team. So we don't hold back on negative things that happen in the office. And some days that can be a drain, right? You leave the office and you're going, oh my gosh, today I was the hammer, or I was the nail instead of the hammer. But I'm trying to get to a place, and I think I'm feeling a whole lot better about the mindset that it's okay if you failed. Just try not to do that again, right? Try to improve that process. Were we slower in some months of the year than we wanted to be? Yeah, we sure were. How do we improve past that? Well, we create systems, and then we follow the systems. It's always can we create it, and then will we follow through with it? It's not usually the can we create it side of it, because between the talented and creative crew that we have, we can create a system. And I feel like a lot of businesses can do that. They have the ability to create it, but will they follow through with it? And that's something that I think we're getting better at. We can always improve upon that, though.
I think people often build systems for the wrong reasons, though. People might build systems because they want to maybe talk about profit margins or internal cost. But if you're building a system that's going to, like our system, for example, I don't know if we're going to talk about it or not in detail, but we're currently building a system that allows people to kind of communicate with us through their own communication preferences rather than just a standard, here's an email, here's a phone call, here's a template. And when we put systems like that in place, the goal isn't to minimize necessarily like our hourly rate or our effectiveness, but it's to maximize the number of people who stick with us through the duration of a project and continue with services past that project because they had a good experience. So I think a lot of people build systems maybe for the wrong reasons or for a short-sighted reason.
That's great insight. Do you want to talk a little bit about that insight tool that you just talked about? The tone of the communication and the speed?
What do you think, Nick?
We have two of them.
We do.
You can talk about the website one where you're getting the tone of the customer, and then we can go into the ad side one.
So in January, we actually revamped our entire system for the website development process for our customers. And it starts now it starts with the sale, obviously, but it starts on our end from the development process with a customer filling out a short survey that gives us some technical data as far as, do they currently have a website? Do they own their domain? Do they have hosting or do they need hosting? Do they have domain-based emails? The technical stuff that we have to find. But we made a system that allows them to answer those questions and also answer some questions that let us know how they prefer to be communicated with personally. So we don't have somebody who needs a hand-holding approach and we're just blasting info and just spitting facts at them. So we're gathering that information that we can kind of almost put them in our system as this person needs a slower approach or this person just wants to get it done. And then we have a system that I built with a series of plugins that goes on the development site and our own dashboard that allows us to watch the status of the website. And the customer can also see the status of the website as it's being built. They can see every step that we're on. They can see the steps that we've completed. It has alerts for them if we're waiting on them for something. But there's points in our build process now that an email is generated with the push of a button that is written in the tone that they've requested. So if a customer doesn't want to be pushed and doesn't want to have like daily communication about what we need, this button will form a checkup or a review email that is worded the way that they want to be communicated with. And that's going to happen all throughout the process, all the way through deployment. So that's just one of the ways that we can not just give them a great website, but give them a good experience while building the website in the hopes of retention, maybe future services. Great reviews go a long way. So that's one of the things that we're doing internally to try to make things better on our side.
I love that system was created because it was a pain point for us. We were in a situation where we had a number of clients that were saying, "Whoa, you're going too fast," or, "Hey, I don't know that we've ever been accused of going too slow with the communication process." I'm sure there have been times, but usually it's we're waiting on someone to provide us with data that we need to build or finish their project. So now we can almost manage the expectations of the customer right up front. Oh, they've selected that they want to run, they want to sprint, and they like quick, powerful communication style. Or you need to walk me through this, and you're gonna have to hold my hand a little bit. So it sets that expectation right up front that we're gonna move at the speed that you have chosen, and you've told us that. So now we're just gonna follow through with it.
Yeah, and that's all through the website build process. And it really gives us a gauge on how we need to communicate for the customer, not communicate for the project. And that led us into the ability to come up with an idea where we can gain that kind of insight and let people kind of, quote unquote, choose their own path, like a role-playing game, when it comes to the sales process, even earlier in the process. Because originally this was all meant for once we get the deal, once we get the committed website. But now Nick came up with an idea that we can let people kind of like choose their own communication preferences on their own and let the right person tell them the information.
Kind of came about with the four of us sitting here and having different communication styles. Like, I don't really want to communicate that much, so I want to go right to a form and fill it out. Where, Norm, you do want to communicate more. And Tim, not as much, but you like to hear the technical side of stuff. And that's where...
give me facts and then move on.
Yeah. And Sam, I don't really know how you want to communicate or how somebody sells to you, or is that through videos that you watch? Is that, like, how does that happen? Not to put you on the spot, but...
Yeah, I would say some of it, I think, comes from video. Also, just feedback from you guys really helps me in understanding maybe where I could do things better or what I'm doing right. Like,
so I mean more like how
what do you
somebody
mean?
can sell to you.
okay.
Like when somebody's trying to sell you something, and you probably had somebody that's like knocking on your door trying to sell you Windows, and they get annoying, or you've had somebody that has a really great approach, and you're like, you know what? Yeah, let me learn more.
Yeah, I think I probably take more of a Norm approach. I like having a conversation so I can ask questions as I go through processes and things like that. Forms stress me out because then I sit there and go, oh, did I fill that out right? Did I miss something? Is this going to lead to me getting an email saying that I messed something up? So would it just be easier to call? So I think I'm a little bit more in Norm's section of communication with like, I need the conversation.
Well,
And I like it when it feels personal too, like with this whole thing that you're building this new system in, it's personalizing an experience and not just making a customer feel like another number in our client book or something like that. Like they're important and they feel important and they feel like we see them for the way that they want to communicate.
Yeah. And our system doesn't take the person out of the equation when it comes to the customer. What it does is it act like there's some automated features that happen, obviously, because it's 2026 and everything's automated and AI driven. But what it does do is we will still communicate with the customer, like us as like myself, Brandon, you two, everybody. It doesn't take that equation out. It just lets us style the way that we approach it to their personality,
Personalize
rather than the way that we get into our own personal feelings and say, I need this information, so I'm just going to ask for it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it solves a lot of that because, we're talking about the difference between a transactional deal and a relationship-driven deal. And there, is, in our world, we have both of those, and then we have some that slide right into the middle. And some of them, that transactional deal is, I'm ready to run, I just want this project, let's get it done. The relational one is the, please hold my hand, and I want to talk to you and text you and call you and walk you through it. And then in the middle is kind of that sweet spot where I want to be, and that is, yeah, we had a great relationship. That's how we got through this process. We build that. Through that rapport, we developed, integral information that is going to help with this build of that website or the management of that social. And then let's get you on the path to getting it done. So the customer then feels good because they needed that a little bit, but they also want the end result. They want the product.
Yeah. So all customers that buy websites from us from here on out will already be seeing this process in effect. It's called, they will see what's called the grounds report, which is their caffeine-driven status bar. There's a little button on their website where they can at any time go on and click a button and see what step of the process we're on. And then we have our side of it in a dashboard that we built that's called the roaster sub that shows us every website that's currently in development, the status, if we're waiting on them. And that key is it shows us the time that the project started so we can make sure that we're still meeting the timelines that we promised. So that is a grounds report roaster sub, and it's amazing because it syncs every single day to make sure that it's always up to date. And that leads us into the concept of the sales side with our Brew selector, which should be up and running by the time this podcast lands. I think it can be.
No pressure, everybody.
That's pressure on you.
I'm almost done.
Yeah, his part's almost done. That's why he said that. All right, let's shift into... I wanted to talk about BBB a little bit and what we learned there.
Yeah.
It was very interesting to you, Norm, especially. Like, you wanted to talk about that stuff and different avenues of advertising, and that's also part of videos on there as well.
Sure. Andrew Mikowski, the Chief Revenue Officer who handles marketing for Gilson Snow, stopped by. I thought it was one of the most impactful business Bytes and Brews that we've hosted because it was coming from, a company that started out, selling snowboards in a Airstream. and is now known across the world for their creativity and their handmade approach to doing what they do. You know, they don't have a warehouse full of snowboards and skis just waiting to go out and be satisfied in a fulfillment, place. It's, oh, I want that board, and then they make it, and then you get it. So that was fascinating to me. But there were a couple of key takeaways. The one of the ones that I love about company culture was make decisions like everybody is watching you. So pretend that whether you're having operational discussions about that impact of people's lives and employees and contractors, or it's your clients and talking about maybe an issue came in with a website that may be on us. And, we didn't update an SSL, or we didn't do something on a Facebook post, or we didn't change out a billboard in time. Owning that and making those decisions for your company like everybody can see. I love that level of transparency, and it's not comfortable for a lot of people. I think in self-preservation as business owners, we want to say, ooh, we didn't mess up. That's not our fault. But I think, forget that the people that are coming to us, I would say that 20 to 30% of our customers have already been burned by someone because they lied to that customer. And they've come to us because they got a raw deal somewhere. And so do we want to perpetuate that trust that we've built and erode that by telling a white lie? I think people are pretty good judges of character. And so owning that, I don't know how you all feel about that. It's whether that's an uncomfortable place to be in. For me, when I first started out in business, if I made a mistake, I was doing everything I could to cover my butt because I needed to keep that customer. If they left me, that meant, am I going to pay my mortgage? Am I going to pay my car payment? Are my kids going to eat, So I would do everything I could to not mess up or to fix that error. Now I feel like I live in a much different place where the transparency is just an easier place to live because you're honest. You tell them, yeah, I messed up. That was on me. Let me take care of that.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that we've always pushed, even at the very beginning, is that we never tried to cover up. We tried to just say, oh, crap, we're dumb. Look what we did.
Yeah.
Because everyone makes mistakes, and there's been times that we made mistakes that were fine, like we had to financially compensate it back. Now, not like giving the customer a check back, but we've had times where we're just like, hey, your next month is on us, or you get credit for this because we screwed up. But, I mean, if you try to cover it up, someone's going to figure it out, especially now. The farther we go, everything's online. Andrew's right. Do everything like everyone's watching.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there was another uncomfortable thing that he talked about, and it's about making videos, which you felt that way. Maybe you can relate to some of the customers. Well, probably a lot of business owners that feel this way about their content. Like they feel that it's not good enough when they should just be putting stuff out because it doesn't live that long on social media.
So the growth curve, or let's call it a timeline of video, the world of video. Let's go back to 2000, and we'll look at, do you remember that?
I was 12.
Do you remember that?
I was 10.
Okay. Timmy remembers 2000.
I do.
Okay. So back in 2000, video that we saw wasn't, YouTube was just coming about. I mean, just coming about. There weren't a lot of online video sources.
Oh, there was E-Bombs World. There was Newgrounds. We cut our teeth on E-Bombs World.
There was E-Bombs World. And then there was broadcast television and cable television. And so everything was overproduced, right? Mm-hmm. So we fast forward and we get into 2010, let's say. MySpace is out there. YouTube is growing like crazy out there. And it's still produced content. The content that you see there. So in like 2015 through 2020, there's this massive shift in what video starts to look at. By the time we get to 2020, we get into the COVID era, we start to realize that people are getting a little bit lazy and they don't care as much about the produced quality of the content that's out there. Now it has its application. If you're running a website video, we want that to look nice. It's 16:9 landscape format. somehow during COVID, we all just thought that jammies and hoodies and like we stopped dressing up.
Learning TikTok dances and how to make bread.
Yep.
And making videos about it.
The socials and the real space, the vertical video space blew up.
Yep.
And now we're at a space and a time in the continuum of video where we don't care about how polished it is. And the struggle was real for me because I came from that world of, TV news and very polished and website video content and television broadcast commercials and cable commercials. And, everything had to be just scripted and the edits had to be just perfect and sequenced. And now it's
Vlogs.
the Wild West. Just
People just holding a camera, like POV style, taking you through their day. And those videos go viral. Millions of views on, someone just taking you through their day with their phone just from this perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah, people don't want to see production. People want to see either value
Real.
or entertainment.
I guess. Yeah.
So now we're at the, I've gotten over the my hurdle of, every time that we would put something out there that was, POV style or was not well produced, I would have like little seizures when we first started to do that. And now there's a time and a place for every piece of video.
So the way I look at it is people are often concerned because something might not be up to par or might not be to their standard, but it's the internet, it's social media. So it's going to die off sometimes within a day. If it doesn't die off, it's because people are engaging with it. So regardless of what you think as far as production or your level, if people are engaging with it, that means that they're finding value, they're finding something they enjoy about it. And even if it's not your best piece of work, it's keeping itself alive by people's engagement.
The most watched video during COVID was a viral video of, it was literally an empty bowl on, it looked like a bed or something, and someone was making chocolate covered strawberries. It got like 13 million views.
I watched the Numa Numa video like 13 million times during COVID.
I don't know what that is.
You never, classic internet.
Great. We're going to have to
nostalgia.
watch it when we get back to the office. Thanks.
So I want to spin right out of what Tim was just talking about and Sam was mentioning in I'm going to just call it the organic side of what we do, of posting content and of the creative process. Andrew said something during the Business Bytes and Brews that scared me at first, and then I had this shift of emotions while I was sitting on the couch watching him, and then I got to a place where I was like inspired by what he said. He said, I want to get to a place where digital marketing goes away. And that scared me because we make a living off of selling digital marketing.
I think it depends on how you see digital marketing, because I think he was referring to just pay to play method.
That's what I mean.
But creating content with the purpose of getting people to share your content is still digital marketing.
Correct. That's exactly what he was saying. He was looking forward to a place where getting rid of the paid ad and then surviving and nurturing the growth of organic content, created content. And that's a major pain point. And I don't think we're anywhere really close to that because of the time that business owners have to create content, or the willingness to pay someone to create content for them.
Also, his presentation was really good, but also really industry specific.
Yeah.
Where like his information, his tactics, his theories wouldn't play out for a trash company, trash removal. Some of the tactics carry over, but he is coming from a place where he had really good success in that like high engagement, sports, visually entertaining world. And then you have businesses that just aren't exciting, but they still need to get their name out there, and people need them for a function rather than an entertainment.
Yeah, my mind goes into 100 different pathways. I watched my trash guy show up this morning. You're talking about the trash company. At 6:15, he was pulling up. He was grabbing it, doing his thing, and off he goes. And I watched him drive down the road. And if a trash company went out and every single day created content and posted 3 to 5 times a day, 7 days a week on whatever it was, things that they find in the trash, what they saw when they went to the landfill, on things they saw along the way, what it really smells like when you're, hanging off the back of that truck. If they created so much content that it got to the point where it was overwhelming the, almost getting to a point of saturation, they could almost get to that point where they would outdo an ad.
But also you have to remember that every community has 3 to 5 different trash companies, and how many options you have to make engaging content, and they're all going to do the same thing, and now you have nothing special about your own brand or your business because you have very limited options and you have to take a cookie cutter method. Like, you have to, for it to completely go away, you have to be so unique in your niche that there's not going to be copycat people in your community.
So I agree with both of you. I believe that trash company can make enough content to not have to pay because the other 3 trash companies in the area aren't doing it. They have to pay. So I believe it won't go away, but for his industry, it could. Yeah. Because they're doing what their competitors aren't doing.
Yeah, there's going to be one person that's kind of like setting the trend and the other 2 that are just paying the platforms to keep up.
Yeah.
That's how it will always stay alive. But for certain companies, they can do enough to make theirs go away.
It's this cyclical concept of, 1 or 2 companies are chasing after another one, trying to replicate what they do. And whether that's constant contact or it's the creative. The other thing that I like about what Tim just said is that when you have every company in that area who is then trying to replicate what the other one is doing, what does it force one of them to do? If their content all looks the same,
they start over again. Mm-hmm. They now have to be creative again.
Yep. And that creative process, how many times has that pushed us out of our comfort zone? It does every day or every week.
Mm-hmm. But that's our everyday living though. For like some of these businesses, they can't, like, that's not a way to sustain a multi-generational business. Like They shouldn't have to think about that. So they have no choice but to pay a platform to put themselves in front of people's eyeballs.
Yeah. It's the world we live in now. Mm-hmm. So the thought process, we talk about this revolution of my kids are learning about the Roaring 20s and Industrial Revolution, and they're going through American history, and we're talking about how, each corner, America gets, a little bit more progressive and they grow a little bit more. There's probably an argument about whether or not AI is a great thing and how much progress we've led to, and how much control we're going to let AI have in our worlds and how it's used ethically and morally.
I have thoughts on that.
Yeah, I know you do.
I mean, back in the 80s, the fact that auto-completion was being put into word processors was looked at as being the devil.
Yeah.
Like, that's AI. It's trying to complete a word based on the first 2 characters. Mm-hmm. And now, the big news, Maltbook. If you haven't heard of Maltbook, oh my gosh, it's fascinating.
How many people do you think that, honestly, that know what you're talking about right now?
I hope all of them, because it's amazing. It's an AI age. It's a social platform. But
2 of us here don't know what you're talking about.
It's a social platform, like a forum, but humans are only allowed to observe, and AI agents are the only ones that are able to sign up and talk and swap API keys and learn from each other. And there's all kinds of stuff going on. It's happening, and I am all on board.
Red pill, or what was the other color? Blue. Red pill or blue?
I don't know. I'm kind of like in the middle of contribute through code or sit back and watch the world burn. I'm not sure which side I'm on.
All right, Morpheus. Next question. Scenario.
So I was going to ask you a question about videos. So when you're sitting there and you're worried about, this goes out to any business owner, but I'm asking you because you're the most recent that felt this way. Mm-hmm. And you watch videos. Mm-hmm. So you're consuming videos that are probably made the way that you wouldn't post them for your own business, which confused me sometimes. I'm like, I'd be looking at you going, you're watching a fishing video that was just made off of an iPhone, but you don't want to post this video to our page, which you've gotten out of completely. But how did you get out of that? Like, was it that, were you looking and going, oh, I'm watching these. They are catching my attention. This does work. Like, can you help business owners realize that they can post pretty much whatever they want as long as it's not going to get them canceled right now? But
that's hard to do these days. It's hard to cancel.
But you can also spin that to a lot of engagement if you know what you're doing.
Yeah, so I still have this like fragmented mind for what video should be.
Your PR comes in.
No, no, just in what's relevant at the time. So I often look at vertical video as garbage video. We've called it that before. It's garbage content. It's not going to live in our minds 72 hours from now or
Not
beyond.
just for clarity, not garbage in terms of the quality of the information, but throwaway is a better phrase.
Yeah.
It's throwaway video.
It's garbage.
You're garbage.
Because in a week from now, that video will have outlived its purpose, other than some algorithmic response that the social media platform that you're in needs to see that you check the box by posting a video. So, like it is super important. That doesn't change. Just because it's throwaway content does not mean it's not important. It means it's very important to the overall scheme of being able to get people traffic to your social, to your YouTube channel, to your, whatever it is.
It's very important for a shorter moment.
It is. And that shorter moment is where sales happen, where a sale happens. So super important, but I still look at it that way.
I can't wait for that sound clip to come out where it's like, vertical video is garbage.
Great.
When I am talking with a customer about the importance of vertical video, I'll say, how many times a week are your feet going numb while you're on the toilet watching vertical video? And 50% of the time, they laugh. It's always a dude who's like 30 and above because he's going into the bathroom to escape his children or
Yeah,
pets.
they're in there for a half hour, 45 minutes.
Yeah, what are they doing in there?
Scrolling.
Well, they're scrolling. They're doom scrolling on vertical video.
They are.
So they'll laugh and say, "You're right, I do." Because they'll start out with saying, "Oh, I don't know about that vertical video. That's not important." Oh, yeah, it is. How many times a week do your feet go numb on the toilet? Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
I am that guy in there just going through mindlessly through.
No, I was just about to say it's become like almost a mindless thing for us to do.
And it delivers a super quick impression. And it's like a little mini billboard or a little video clip that creates an impression with you. And now you're in that person's mind and it's top of mind awareness, right? As opposed to the longer format that I'm going to search. That's why we push how-to videos and educational videos on YouTube, because I know you've done it. I know you do it. We talk about it. I'll go to YouTube when I want to fix something because I really don't want to hire.
Yeah, people go to YouTube to learn how to do it themselves.
Absolutely.
So if you format your content in a way where it's like, hey, if you want to do this yourself, do this. Otherwise, call the pros at your business here.
Yep.
So that's the best way to advertise yourself on YouTube right now.
Yeah, in the DIY space. So I think in my mind, Nick, there is still a place for all of the video content. It just depends on what the message. What are you trying to accomplish?
I agree.
All right. We're shifting into what we're doing at Cup of Code, and then you're going to take us out, Norm.
What? Yeah, we have a couple of things to talk about that we've been working on too.
Yeah, that's this time.
Oh, as you were.
But we're going to talk about BBB and the stuff you're working on.
Okay.
Actually, we're just going to talk about you, Tim.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So, our thanks again to Andrew from Gilson Snow. But our presenter, Timothy Keeley,
Yay.
will be our February Business Bytes and Brews, and talking about the importance of how AI is integrated into our search as we drive a lot of our marketing services towards being found on the internet. Not just showing up in a sponsored ad is as important as it once was, maybe 3-4 years ago, before it became just as important to be cited in a large language model. So there's AEO, GEO.
Yeah. Much like people were all over Facebook and then Instagram came onto the scene, people didn't just stop Facebook. They just implemented Instagram. Same applies if you're familiar with the buzzword SEO. It's just all about getting yourself found in organic searches throughout the internet. And now with the advancements of like ChatGPTs and Geminis, and even Gemini feeding the very first response you get to a search query in the top as an AI response, the citing, like that's now what you get before you even get to sponsored ads. So it just makes sense that now you want your website to be an answer for those to catch. And that's where things like the AEO and the GEO for your answer engines and your generative and optimization comes into play. So there's going to be some SEO touches in the business Bytes and Brews because that's still super, super important because you don't want to just not be found in search. But it's also going to talk about what you can do for your website to start getting cited, start becoming the answer, start becoming something that shows up when people are going to the platforms like AI and saying, I'm trying to do this. How can I do this near me? So you want to be a response. Like I tested it recently because I've been doing a lot of work on our own website. I went to ChatGPT and was like, hey, I need a website development company near me. And we came up first. We had a whole bunch of information. We had our little website button to it. And then everything else below it was just like the name of the business. So it does work, and people are asking AI for answers now, and we just want to teach you how to get in that platform. And it's a super high-level topic. It's a pretty complex topic, but I have a complete worksheet for every topic that's going to be available to anybody who attends, and it's going to break out single thing we talk about in a way that they can just copy and paste it into a Google search and learn more and apply it their way. And every slide has a get started today by doing this little tag. So it's something that you can do today in that space to start your process of making your website better. So even though it's high level, I'm still trying to make it very approachable for anybody.
Nice. Good work, Timmy.
Good work.
Thanks.
Yeah, super relevant. And let's talk quickly about some of the things that we're doing to help not just the community, but small business owners. So I'm personally geeked about our first Glow Up winner, Route 11.
I think that's a good example of a promotion that went really, really well.
Talk about that.
Was very timely back on our whole promotion conversation earlier in the episode. That was something that was really like low effort on our end. It didn't take a lot to A, set it up. B, I don't think we're just using our available billboards already. So there wasn't like a crazy financial, what's the word I'm looking for? Burden to doing this promotion. And we got thousands of comments of small businesses that people loved this past year. That went really well. Route 11 won it. And it went so well that we decided that we're going to keep doing it every quarter.
What are we calling it?
It is going to be called Battle of the Brands. So there will be 4 quarter winners. And then at the end of the year, those 4 winners will get bracketed against each other in a duel.
A cage match.
A Royal Rumble, if you will.
Ooh. Can I be the guy
And then
that
at that
says,
point, the prize gets higher then.
The Royal Rumble was this Saturday, by the way. Everybody.
I saw.
Oh, Super Bowl's coming up this
Where
week.
is it this year?
I think it's in Detroit this year.
Okay.
Go Birds.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages.
What's next, Nick?
This has really just gone off the rails.
Do I get to say that, though, at the end of the year with the Battle of the Brands?
Some of the other things we're doing is the referral program
Yes.
Okay.
in February. If you refer a business, you get $100, and the business, if they go with the service, they get $100 off their service.
Yep.
What's another one we're doing?
Launching today, in terms of when we're recording
The
this,
conversation heart.
we have our little conversation heart generator
Yes.
for Valentine's Day.
You can send a loved one a conversation heart. You customize it. You pick your flavor. You get a download, and then you can ship that off to your loved one.
We
this Valentine's Day.
we encourage you to use the download and then post it on social media, tagging the person who it's supposed to be for.
Yep.
Or just put it on, and maybe it's like a secret lover. Don't do that.
Or a blanket to just, I love all
Yeah.
of you on my page.
They also are on a gallery on the page so people can see what other messages are. And yes, we do have filters in place that should catch anything that's inappropriate.
Yes.
And we can block IPs of anybody who
Don't be dirty.
puts anything inappropriate on there. So
Carl,
just keep
we're
it fun.
talking to you.
Yes.
Don't ruin it for everybody or else we will find you.
And then we also have Cosmic Grounds that updates every month based on whatever the theme of the month is. This month, obviously, is Valentine's Day. So you can get on cupofcode.com/Cosmic Grounds, right?
I believe so.
And this month, you will see who your sign partner is, like who you're best matched up with when it comes to marketing and why.
And then the last promo is the startup pack for small businesses that haven't tried marketing. We're doing a $200 Facebook ad and Google My Business where you try it out. It's a very low budget ad, but you can dip your toes in it for 90 days. And now it's your time to shine, Norm.
And that is going to do it for this episode of the Fresh Pot podcast. Goodbye.
Wow, that was an intense outro.
Bye.
Goodbye.